Alright, how's it going? I'm that ginger photographer and I thought you might want to watch me edit a recent food photography job. First thing I always do is just try and get that warmth right, get those settings right with things like contrast and exposure, as you can see here, and I always bring up the vibrance a little bit when it comes to food because I want the colours to be nice and poppy. If I've shot a wide image like this, I'll always crop in that little bit, as you can see here, just because I'm trying to sell the food and not sell the wall. I'll also try and include pictures like this where there's plenty of empty space, negative space, just because I'm thinking when they're using it on reels, they can insert text there, do whatever they need to do, so there's plenty of space for them to add optional text when they're sharing it online and they're not ruining the entire picture of the food by doing that. Once I've got the settings right for one, I'll drag it across and just sync those settings across multiple images. I won't do that for the entire shoot, I'll just do it for the next batch of like 5-10 images, just because they're going to be a similar shoot in a similar setting, so the edits should be somewhere near for each one. I like my blacks and my whites to be just that little bit not quite black and not quite white, so I do kind of bring those down using an S curve here. One thing I do try and do is really straighten every image. Sometimes, like in this, as you can see here, the table's a little bit wonky, so something's always got to give. It's either going to be a table a little bit wonky looking, or it's going to be the background's a little bit wonky looking, and I'll go for whichever makes the food look more straight. Again here, just trying to keep something that's nice and pleasing to the eye, keeping that background in the centre so that the lines follow my central lines, as you can get up when you see the crop. I also tried lightening this source, but it did not work. I do think it's important to mention here that these images are just for social media and for websites. These aren't images that have been set up with a food stylist and we're taking hours per image of food. These are literally hundreds of images taken, and hundreds of images are going to be delivered as well. It's not a case of spending hours trying to get just one really good shot. These are quick shoots for clients where they can get a load of content to share on social media, so I don't have to go really in depth when editing these images. It's just a case of getting them looking nice, but don't have to go overboard. Again, because I've synced those settings across multiple images here, the main thing I'm doing is really just straightening the pictures. Also there, remove anything that might be distracting in the image, although I don't do this on every single picture. As I said, I don't go overboard. Tried to keep the treacle there on the rule of thirds line. Look at me go. I always think something like that is just a little bit more pleasing science, isn't it? That horizon line there is just really annoying me, so I'm trying to get that straight without the background looking off as well. Again, just found those marks on the wall in the background a little bit distracting, so quick heel brush there and it's gone. Honestly, this auto subject detection masking, whatever you want to call it, by Lightroom is one of the best inventions they've ever made, I think. As you can see there, I pressed one button, it detected that the food was the subject, so it just masked it off for me. I brightened that up a little bit, brought the shadows up, brought the whites up, and then what I then done was I right clicked on it and I duplicated and inverted it. So basically what it's done is it's made another copy of it, but then it's applied the mask to the background rather than the food. And then I've brought all of the highlight shadows down on the background so that the food really does pop. The only thing with doing things like that and removing those marks off the wall is that I then have to go through every picture and do that, otherwise those marks will appear in some images and not in others. As you can see there, just using that subject mask again, you can see what a difference it's making, just bringing the food up, duplicate and invert, and then just the background's masked, and I'll just darken that a little bit so that the food really pops. Again, when I'm doing a really fast food shoot like this, where there's loads of images, loads of different dishes, all for social media, I just try and deliver a really good range of both portrait and landscape so that they can use them on Instagram stories, they can use them on just normal posts, but then they can also use the images on websites and wherever else they need to. Those marks are really annoying again, so as you can see, because I've moved it from the other images, I feel inclined to remove it from these images as well now. I'm not sure what that was on the table, but I think it was a little bit of a scratch, so I just try and, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I just want to take your eye away from it. Again, just trying to straighten that image so that both background and table are straight there, look pretty good. Got the pancakes in the centre there, so they're my point of focus. Don't know why it's selected there. Again, subject mask, perfectly selected the food and even the jug and the stream there, so I can just highlight those and darken the background really easy there. Another great thing about that subject mask is you can sync your settings across, and it will sync your subject mask as well across all of them. So if you've got a certain subject mask where you're bringing the whites up, bringing the shadows up, and you sync that across multiple images, it'll apply a subject mask to each image that is for each image as well. It doesn't apply the same shape, so you're not going to have pancakes cut out and then applied to a different dish, which I think the old version used to, but it does create a new subject mask depending on each image as well, which is great. It'll detect the subject in each image. I'm really feeling these ambient tunes, are you? This is by Dusty Decks from Epidemic Sound. Again, just removing any muck that I've left on the table there. It'd have been a lot easier to have just cleaned the table there and then on the day, but sometimes you forget. As you can see, it's created those subject masks when I've synced the settings across, so I can just individually go in on the pre-selected subject mask now and edit those individually as I need to. This is actually quite a cramped setup this. There was the full restaurant to shoot in, but there was tables and chairs everywhere, so a lot of these images are actually quite up against the wall. I'd have said that I haven't gone any wider than 2 meters, including 2 big lights with soft boxes on, the table in the middle, the food, and a person cramped in there being able to pour without standing in front of my light as well, so it is a cramped setup. So this actually turned out to be a 4-hour photo shoot, this one, and this was an entire menu being photographed. The bit that I've recorded here is obviously just the breakfast menu, but there is a lot of other images that I'll go into in other videos, just talking about drinks, other dishes, using different areas of the restaurant as well. We did a lot of pictures with natural light in the window, had some staff holding the different dishes as well. So this just is a small section of the entire 4-hour photo shoot, to be honest. I took these chicken and waffles home, and I've got to say they were absolutely delicious, just in case you're wondering. Just removing anything that might be distracting as well there. There was actually a piece of the woodwork, but it was just a little bit distracting in the corner, so I took that away. Again, just removing those damn marks. Just removing her pinky as well. It's just in the frame a little bit and I just want to get rid of that. I hope I crop it out before I move on to the next picture. Yeah, no, get rid of it. Oh no, I've left a little fingernail in. Oh, there, it's gone, it's gone. I thought I was going to have to go back and re-edit that. See, there's a bit of food on the plate here, which is a little bit annoying. So things like that just need to be taken out. Again, just trying to straighten that table. I think it could be really off-putting. The client would probably never notice, in all honesty, but I think it's, when you look at these images for as long as we do, I think it can be really off-putting if something looks slightly off-center or slightly wonky. Again, just removing that food from the plate, really easily done using the heel plaster symbol thing. If you're wondering about the setup for these images as well, it's just really simple. 2 lights, one on the left, one on the right. The one on the right's higher up and it's pointing down. It's just my go-to setup. If you've watched any other food video on my channel, you'll see that setup. Nice big bright light on the right hand side pointing down at the dish. Then on the left hand side I've got a softbox at the same height as the table on a lower power setting. It just really captures, even the powder you can see is being lit up nicely when it's being sprinkled on these pancakes here. Waffles, sorry. Again, I just wish I had just wiped off the plate on the day, but that'll teach me. So I tried to make it look like there was more powder there, but that did not work at all. It looked terrible. I'm sure you can get an overlay off Etsy or something of sprinkled white powder. Probably not a bad idea. Probably get away with using snow. Oh, look at that. I didn't know I had that one. Just saved myself £5 on Etsy there. So that sauce there is a Biscoff sauce and it was next level delicious, absolutely amazing. As I've said, I don't go into this much detail on every single image that I deliver, but sometimes when things just throw your eye off, and if you think as a photographer that it's ruining that picture just that little bit, I think sometimes it's just worth spending those extra 30 seconds removing little bits like that. So this job's actually fully edited now and it's been delivered. Feedback from the client was they're absolutely over the moon with the pictures, obviously, because they're brilliant, aren't they? Look at them. He said, "I'm so glad there's not a little mark on the wall." He never really, but I'm just trying to justify spending all that time removing them marks. But in the end, this client, I think there's about 1,500 in total taken over the 4-hour period of a full menu, full drinks menu, and then some details of the restaurant as well. And the client was delivered 186 pictures. So over a 4-hour period, if that's useful information to you, then do with it whatever you will. Do the maths on that. See what I charged per single image. Just a little close up for you there. Tell you what, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's something a little bit different, but I thought it might be useful that you see what goes on when editing a food photo shoot. I know I talk about my setups and things on the day and how to attract food photography clients, but this is just a little insight into how much I actually go into editing, which in all honesty is not a great deal, but I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do leave a like if you did, if you've made this far, and I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.